Hello and welcome to Heavenly Album Covers. And we show a lot of album covers here, but we also listen to music on our own. In our dark rooms, we listen to music, and we are going to demonstrate and show several albums that we have been listening to lately, one of which is a group called Los Xochimilcas, and we've been listening to lots of Xochimilcas, and Xochimilcas, Los Xochimilcas are Cesar Sosa, Paco Gomez, Martin Armenta, and Antonio Cadillo. They existed from 1949 until 1989, and they produced some of the most fantastic music ever produced on planet Earth. And we've been listening to this album a lot. It's called La Banda Borracha, which means the drunken band, or the band of drunks. And we've also been listening to this album called Éxitos de Actualidad, which is their kind of a greatest hits album. And it's a funny album cover because they are actually standing in front of soccer trophies, not music trophies, but soccer trophies. And we've also been listening to Fueste Acapulco, which I think means the Acapulco Fiesta, something like that. And here they are. They're kind of supposed to be on a boat, and they're kind of moving around on the ocean here. The next album we've been listening to by Los Xochimilcas is one of the greatest albums I personally have ever heard in my entire life, and it's called Ihe Naranjas, which means there are the oranges, or hey, look at the oranges. And here are Los Xochimilcas eating oranges, and this album is just amazing. It's got a kind of an organ sound, and it's very dramatic, very wonderful and funny. Just a really great album. And I highly recommend Los Xochimilcas to anyone and everyone. Next up, this it's not an album, it's like an EP by Malcolm McLaren. It's called Do You Like Scratchin'? And it was recorded right at the inception of scratching and that sort of music. This is a real interesting album. And there's some Keith Haring drawings on this album cover. Let me remove all these albums. And next up is the mono version of Revolver, which I didn't know existed in our archives, but it's very nice. It's very great, especially Tomorrow Never Knows. It just sounds really good in mono. The code number for that version of Tomorrow Never Knows is RM11. And we've been listening to a lot of this album by Elvis Costello and the Attractions, This Year's Model. This is the British version, I think. It's got the intentional misprint up here and down here and on the side, the color separation mistake here. And also we've been listening to Tony Basil, and I'm still trying to figure out if this album is signed by Tony Basil. I think it might be, but the signature doesn't really match her actual signature. And Devo are on this album. Devo are on about 3 or 4 songs. They've kind of helped Tony Basil out. This has the hit Mickey, and it has the semi-hit Shopping A to Z on it. We've also been listening to the other Tony Basil album, which is just called Tony Basil. It's a little bit more, the songs on it are a little more lengthy, and it's kind of more of a dance album rather than a pop album. Also, we've been listening to this summer Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. It's just, this is a great live album featuring Leon Russell and a cast of hundreds. And it's a great package here. It kind of folds out into a big poster. And the poster is too hard to see all at once, but it's very colorful, very wonderful. Let me put these albums on the ground here. And as you can see, we've been listening to a lot of different diverse albums and EPs. I picked this up the other day. It's the disco version of Heart of Glass by Blondie, and the flip side is like an instrumental, kind of a breakdancing kind of version of Heart of Glass. It's really good. The vinyl on this thing is just very flimsy. It's like I've never seen a record this flimsy before. And we finally picked up the 2017 Giles Martin remix of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is very good. It's a nice package. The cover art is still holds up. The remix is very bass heavy, but it's done very delicately and with a lot of taste. And as we were listening to the remix, I realized that we have a mono version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It has the typo, a little help from my friend's typo on it, and it's got all the fun stuff in it. This mono version is quite different than the stereo version. And we recently showed this album by Brandi Carlile and Elton John. It's a good album. It's got a great song about Laura Nyro on it, and it's we're still investigating this album and taking in its many wonders. And probably more than any album this summer, we've been listening to the Italian version of Pure Mania by the Vibrators, which practically every song on this has some unusual addition. Like there are strange guitar parts on it and strange drum parts, and it's really quite fascinating. And it's as good as the American version or the English version. And finally, we picked this up the other day and listened to the whole thing the other day. It's called The Ventures Where the Action Is. It's one of the most 60s sounding albums I've ever heard. You put this album on and it's suddenly like you're in 1966. It's just a really good album. Features some covers and a really nice guitar album depiction on the back. And those are the albums that we've been listening to this summer.